All kids all the time. Star 98.3, 10 minutes after 8 o'clock, 8:10. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you along with us this morning.
Yes.
We have guests in the studio.
Spooky music. Very good. And have I butchered it all morning? Brent Huber?
Yeah, that's right.
It's right?
Yeah.
Okay. Brent Huber, fantastic. I got that right. Also, Kate Taylor is here in studio, and they're all about podcasts. And Brent, you can tell us a little bit about that. Move that microphone right over to you. There you go. Tell us a little bit about the all-new Charles County podcasts and how people can find them, and how did it get started?
Well, we got a new chief in media services.
Jen Harris. She's lovely. I met her not long ago.
And she came in and she was, talking to us about podcasts. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I can do that.
Right.
Yeah, let me give that a try. And I love it. I mean,
Yeah?
I was video and photography and now into audio, and I really like audio.
Okay, so
Yeah.
give
Well,
us,
yeah.
audio, that's our wheelhouse, Brent,
Yeah.
my dear. But tell us, what are some of the things that people can find on the podcasts that are up now on the Charles County government website?
Well, we have a series of podcasts, and we've branded that as Charles County Unscripted.
Okay.
And then within that, we have Open Mic with Mike, which is a podcast series from our county administrator.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got about 4 or 5 episodes there. I'm working on one now.
Open Mic with Mike.
Open Mic with Mike.
Clever.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yep. And then we have Inside Your County Government, and that's the one that I'm hosting, and we have about 6 episodes up right now.
But you have some creepy stuff going on.
We got some creepy stuff.
For Halloween, of
and
course.
Kate's part of that, too.
And Kate was a big part of that.
Listen, when you're talking creepy, you're talking Kate.
She knows
That's
stuff.
ground zero.
She knows stuff. And people can find these podcasts on the Charles County website.
Yep.
If you go to charlescountymd.gov/podcast.
Podcast with an S.
And then people can find and they can listen to all kinds of stuff that's going on in Charles County.
Oh, absolutely. And we're on our Apple Podcast. You get through iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. We've got them out there all over the place.
Good.
Just search for Charles County Government.
Okay, that would be fun, too, especially during the commutes and stuff like that. People can listen.
So, so let's talk creepy stuff, because here we are right on the cusp of Halloween.
Tomorrow, of course.
And there's been plenty of death and mayhem in our neighborhood, but you study all kinds of stuff. Is that right, Kate?
How did you get into studying? I mean, you are described by Charles County government as a 19th century murder researcher. Yes. I mean, how did that come about? Go ahead and pull that mic right towards you so we can hear you, because I don't want to miss a word.
Right.
I'm just a weird person.
There you go. Just a weird person. I like that. Okay, so it's interesting that you say that, because I was just having a conversation with John, our movie reviewer that comes in, and he said, this was an off-air conversation, and he said, I don't know what it is about me. I don't know what this says about me, but I'm just fascinated by serial killers. And I said, yeah, everybody is. Everybody is. And it's one of those things where you sort of don't want to admit it, because we were like, well, look in your crawl space. But it is fascinating. There is, you can't really look away from it. And it's such a weird thing that is alive and well in our society.
Unfortunately.
And one of them that you focused on was that guy, what's his name? H.H.
H.H. Holmes.
H.H. Holmes.
Right,
All
the guy in Chicago.
Now listen to this treat. Tell us about H.H. Holmes.
So he is the first documented serial killer in America, known as the World's Fair serial killer. So in Chicago in 1893, the world is going to Chicago for the World's Columbian Exposition, and he opens a hotel about a mile from the fairgrounds.
Right.
And supposedly kills a good percentage of the guests. His murder count is at 9, so far as historians know.
All right.
But you're also a docent at the Dr. Mudd House, correct? Is the Mudd House haunted?
Yes,
Kate?
it is.
Okay.
It is haunted. Okay.
All right.
Tell me, have you had
what do you see?
an experience there?
I have.
Okay. Well, bring it, sister. What do you got?
So upstairs, we have Dr. Mudd's office.
Okay.
Which is where we have his medical tools. We have a bookcase.
I'm out at medical tools. Right there.
Wait till you see the dentist kits.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
no.
So he's got all the creepy tools there.
So we
sawing
have-
off legs and stuff.
We have the bookcase, which has most of his books enclosed behind the glass. And I was giving a tour, and I exited one of the other rooms, and the bookcase is usually kept locked. and the doors of the case just swung open.
Oh, wow. Just swung open.
Just on their own.
Because the
And
doctor needed a book.
maybe he needed a book, or maybe he wasn't happy with what I was saying.
Maybe.
Oh, my gosh.
So was that your only experience there, or are the other staff members?
I was cleaning in the doctor's office, and
Stop going in there.
I need to stop going in that room, and heard someone hit into the glass and just start rattling the case.
Like a window? Oh, the bookcase.
Again with the bookcase.
Maybe somebody's locked in the bookcase. Maybe you should leave it
Somebody
unlocked.
wants to get out. Other docents have heard footsteps going across the upper hallways, have
Wow.
heard music and voices coming from outside. There is supposed to be a kind of unhappy ghost that lives up in the attic.
Okay.
Oh, unhappy.
So
Why do you think they're unhappy? Do they moan or yell or?
He is,
We know
so
it's a he.
far as I was told, the carriage driver, or was the carriage driver for the Muds.
Okay.
And so he just doesn't seem to like people very much. And from what I was told, I have not had an encounter with him.
Oh gosh, that's creepy.
Now, Brent, you had some guests on earlier for a different
Right.
podcast. It was like a paranormal thing.
Paranormal.
And you
Yeah.
were at the Mud House with this crew?
I was at the Mud House with them Saturday night.
This past
This
Saturday?
past Saturday.
Oh my gosh, did you stay all night, Brent?
No, I stayed until about 11.
Hell no. Yeah.
yeah,
You get out
Smart.
early.
Yeah,
That's what you
yeah.
do.
Yeah, I was like this. I needed to step out.
How did it go? I mean, did
It
any?
went really well. I mean, they have this thing that they call the ghost box. I don't know if you've seen this. It's this.
Okay.
It's this receiver,
All right.
and
Okay.
they put noise canceling headphones on.
Okay.
Right.
And I was trying it out. A lot of noise. You got to focus to hear anything.
Okay.
And they had two people on that, so they could not hear anything. And we were walking up in the attic, and it's
Oh, where
Patrick
the-
Burke with Spark. So he's leading the group
Okay.
up, and I feel this overwhelming pressure on me, like I'm underwater.
Oh my
And just-
God.
It's really kind of, it's not difficult to move, but you feel resistance.
Right.
And
It's the carriage driver.
And he says in the attic, "Hey guys, I'm back. I've brought some friends." And just as he says that, I hear the word brother in my head, and the two guys on the noise canceling headphones both said brother at the same time. And I'm like,
That
okay.
is freaky, Brent. Oh my
Something's
gosh! So
happening.
you heard you heard the word brother in your head,
Yep.
and the two guys couldn't hear anything.
Couldn't hear anything.
They said brother.
They said brother. Yeah, the idea of the ghost box is as you hear words, you just spit them out. And there was like maybe 10, 15 times that night they both said the same word at the same time.
Did that freak you out?
It was like, okay, something's going on. Something's definitely
I mean,
going on.
if you're hearing it in your head, I mean, you have no connection to those guys
Right.
at all.
That one did get me because I heard it in my head milliseconds before they said it.
Oh, that is creepy. Now,
You see, here's where I am with this stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're, because we talked about this a little bit yesterday about ghosts and whether or not people believe in them. I don't believe in them, but I think a lot of my disbelief is rooted in the fact that if I was to open that door, I think I would freak. So I'm just like, it's not happening. It's not happening.
So one of the big stories in Charles County, I mean, there are a ton, but the blue dog. Now, for people that maybe are new to the area, what is the story, Kate, about the blue dog?
The legend of the blue dog starts with Olivia Floyd, who was a Southern spy during the Civil War, and then does this complete turn in her later life and becomes a psychic, and she holds seances in her house, and she sees the blue dog, claims that she meditates on the experience and learns its story
Okay.
and how it comes to exist.
And what is the story of the blue dog?
It starts in Port Tobacco.
Okay.
There is a tavern. There's a man by the name of Charles Sims, and he's drinking in the tavern. He has his blue tick hound with him.
Okay.
And
Hence the blue dog.
hence
Gotcha.
the blue dog. And as Sims is drinking, he starts bragging that he has all this money and he has a deed to land. Not
that's
really
not-
a good idea.
No.
And so he and the dog depart the tavern. They head up toward Rose Hill Road, which is later where Olivia Floyd lives. And there's a man by the name of Henry Hanos who has this gang, and they follow Sims up the road and attack him to steal the gold.
Right.
And both Sims and the dog fall onto a large rock on the side of Rose Hill Road, and both of them are killed.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
So Hanos buries the gold under a holly tree. Why he doesn't just take it then, I'm not sure, but he buries
So
it.
there was gold. He had gold on him.
He did, and supposedly it is still out there on Rose Hill Road. because when Hanos comes back the next day,
Thanos.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, evil,
him
right?
and his gauntlet,
Right.
Exactly.
Gauntlet.
The gauntlet of stones, right?
maybe that's what's under there.
Could be.
Oh my gosh! And the blue dog. Sometimes people see the blue dog.
Yeah, so the blue dog had turned into a spirit. He frightened Hanos away, and Hanos later fell ill and died unexpectedly.
Yeah, you bet he did.
And so it is said that the blue dog spirit is a bringer of death. When Olivia Floyd saw it very shortly after, she got news that her brother Robert had died in the Civil War. And every February 8th, it said that the dog returns to the spot beside the rock and can be heard howling.
February 8th. So that's when this gentleman was murdered,
That's
and the
the
dog was
anniversary.
murdered.
So
February. So I don't want to see the blue dog. I wouldn't want to see the blue dog if it means death is coming. No
The
way.
last sighting of the dog, I believe, was in the 1970s.
In the 70s, somebody said they saw it. And
He
what
has not been seen since then.
was the dog? Okay.
So you're into this stuff. Is there anything that freaks you out? Is there anything you've come across you're like, I'm not opening that door?
My husband loves telling the story. I researched Lizzie Borden.
Okay.
Oh,
She's a
gosh.
treat.
And when I turned 21, we spent 2 nights.
Do you
in
think she
the
did it? I don't
house.
want to cut ahead. Do you think she did it?
Oh, yes.
She did it.
She
She
did
was
do
the
it.
one
Gave
that
her father
picked up
40
the
whacks.
hatchet.
Really?
Maybe somebody helped her cover it up, but I believe that she was
She
the
chopped
one that
him up.
actually
Because she was
Fantastic.
acquitted.
committed the crime.
She was acquitted.
Yes, she was.
Yeah,
Oh.
I knew it. Okay,
So what
so
about
you're at
her?
Lizzie's house.
So we stayed there for 2 nights, and he
What?
loves
2
telling the
nights?
story about how I had to keep the lights on both nights because I was freaked out.
You
once
can
the sun
stay at
went
Lizzie
down.
Borden's house?
Yes, you can. It's a bed and breakfast.
And did
It's
you?
a bed and breakfast.
No, hold
of
on
course
a second.
it is.
Now, you kept the lights on because you just had a sense that something was weird, or you heard, or you actually experienced something?
I had a very strange feeling, very similar to what you were saying about feeling suffocated and just this pressure
Right.
in the house. It was just a strange feeling, and I did not want to turn the lights off for fear that I was going to see something.
I would
So-
have been out the first night, Kate.
Yeah,
I would have been
I'm
like
not- I'm not
gone.
there.
Something did grab the back of my head at one point. But
See?
Something grabbed the back of your head.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, I'd be.
See? What are you doing? What's going on here?
I don't know what I'm doing with my life anymore.
What's happening here? I'm just out, man. I'm out. So okay, so you did that. What? Well, let's back up a little bit. What made you gravitate towards this type of
Researching this
research
stuff, yeah.
and study?
My interests are very strange. Some will
Well, I think
come
we've
in.
established that.
Some come in and I read and I get obsessed with it for a couple months and then they'll go straight back out again. And then there's ones that just get locked in there. And it's 3 of them that have just stayed in my head. And it's what
And that
I've-
is Booth,
Booth,
Lizzie Borden.
and Holmes. And it's what I've now kind of dedicated my life to doing.
Whew.
I've portrayed people in these sagas, in reenactments. It's just what I enjoy
Let me guess.
doing.
Are you Lizzie?
I have.
You
Oh.
I cut my wedding cake with a hatchet. It sits on my bookshelf. True story.
That's fun.
All right. Okay.
Okay, so back to Brent. So the podcast where you can hear Kate speak and
Yeah.
hear other people hear about county business from Charles County. How can people find the podcast from the county website?
Just go to www.charlescountymd.gov/podcast with an S, and everything is right there on that page. You click on the album covers. You can click out to Apple Podcast, Google Play, Stitcher.
And how many are up there right now to choose from?
For Inside Your County Government, we have 6.
Okay.
And for Open Mic with Mike, I think we have 4.
Okay, so
So-
tons of fun.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, well, let me ask you this, Kate, because you know more about this than I do. Because you're a child of the night. So obviously, the whole Mud House and Booth and all that kind of stuff.
Are you
that's-
thinking the most haunted places in Charles County?
Well, that's sort of where I'm going. But that obviously is the most famous of assassinations, murders, and everything in the. But is it the creepiest, and what's the most haunted place in this area?
I wouldn't say the Mud House is the creepiest. It certainly has a lot of experiences,
Yeah.
but it is a lot of fun to just walk through and learn the history of
Oh,
Dr.
gosh,
Mudd
yes.
and of John Wilkes Booth. Port Tobacco has ghosts in it. One lives in Stag Hall in the basement. That one is actually pretty creepy because there aren't a lot of people that usually are in Stag Hall, and all of a sudden we hear things opening or bottles rattling.
And it's a nasty one?
He seems pretty friendly. He just likes to make a lot of noise. But
Oh,
when you're
okay.
not expecting it and suddenly you just hear something fall on the floor.
But that's
okay.
not the vibe of the ghost that lives upstairs at the Mud House.
No, that one is a little more cranky.
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 He's a tad cranky.
Crikey, he's
Yes,
cranky.
as ghosts go, he's a touch cranky. Listen, guys.
So much fun.
I-
Thank you for taking time
could-
out of your day and coming
Thank
in.
you for
and
inviting us.
I could do that. I could talk about this for 3 hours. I find it interesting and I find it weird. And as long as the sun's up, I'm happy to chat about it. But thank you for coming in. I
And
appreciate
we'll
it.
have you on again. We'd love to have you on again to talk about creepiness and stuff and podcasts and everything else. Thank you. We appreciate
Awesome.
it.
The podcast again. Where can they find it?
CharlesCountyMD.gov/podcast.
All right. Well, check it out. Sounds interesting. 8:25. Let's check out the traffic.